What is the greatest opening line in the history of history?
The secret to revolution is not to see what no one else has seen, but rather to see the same thing everyone sees and to think what no one else has thought.
I have asked over 50 people if they access the internet, and they all say yes.
When in reality, we are all granting the internet access to us.
We do not access the internet. We are the internet. Hey folks, welcome back to the Gavin Big Hands Newsom Experience and My Mommy Didn't Raise No Commie, starring President Obama and Governor Gavin Big Hands Newsom, where serious ideas meet a little satire and a lot of democracy. As Governor Big Hands likes to say, the most important office in a democracy isn't president or governor, it's citizen. Join us as we make democracy offensive. What's up, Mr. President? Did you hear that Token Joe Rogaine, Chicken Joe, won't interview me?
That's because he and Christian conservatives have been tricked into supporting communism. We need to prove that.
How do we do that?
Well, first we explain that Communist China, North Korea, Iran, and Russia are military and economic allies. They tricked Dumbo Donnie and the GOP into tariffs to weaken and destroy our constitutional republic.
You see, at first, when someone says, let's impose tariffs on foreign imports, it looks like they're doing the patriotic thing by protecting American products and jobs. And sometimes for a short while it works, but only for a short time. What eventually occurs is, first, homegrown industries start relying on government protection in the form of high tariffs. They stop competing and stop making the innovative management and technological changes they need to succeed in world markets. And then, while all this is going on, something even worse occurs. High tariffs inevitably lead to retaliation by foreign countries and the triggering of fierce trade wars. The result is more and more tariffs, higher and higher trade barriers, and less competition. So soon, because of the prices made artificially high by tariffs that subsidize inefficiency and poor management, people stop buying. Then the worst happens. Markets shrink and collapse, businesses and industries shut down, and millions of people lose their jobs. The memory of all this occurring back in the 30s made me determined when I came to Washington to spare the American people the protectionist legislation that destroys prosperity. Now, it hasn't always been easy. There are those in the Congress, just as there were back in the 30s, who want to go for the quick political advantage, who risk America's prosperity for the sake of a short-term appeal to some special interest group, who forget that more than 5 million American jobs are directly tied to the foreign export business, and additional millions are tied to imports. For those of us who lived through the Great Depression, the memory of the suffering it caused is deep and searing. And today, many economic analysts and historians argue that high tariff legislation passed back in that period, called the Smoot-Hawley tariff, greatly deepened the Depression and prevented economic recovery.
That's pretty clear.
Then we ask why the United States refuses to sell weapons directly to Ukraine and refuse to impose Chinese tariffs until Communist China stops funding the Ukraine war.
You mean? Why is the Republican Party refusing to go after Communist China and Russia?
Not just that, why are patriotic conservative Christians being tricked into protecting pedophiles, stealing national security secrets, and refusing to help fight world communism?
Yep. Who else but communists would think the Bible promotes pedophiles? It's like they think Jesus supports communists and pedophiles, right?
That's why we need Californians and Americans to fund and vote yes on Prop 50, the anti-communism proposition.
Stay tuned for the next edition of the Gavin Big Hands Newsom Experience. And I Odd Nations Productions presents My Mommy Didn't Raise No Commie. And please share this video with those who care about democracy.
taught me dominion, not the red flag wave. No communism, just the freedom I crave. West Coast breeze, but I'm cold as ice. Dodging groupthink, living the American dream. Sun Tzu is the playbook, strategy's deep. Wars won in the shadows, not the tweets you keep. China got the wisdom, ancient scrolls unfold. Freedom is my treasure, more precious than old. My mommy didn't raise no commie, nah. Built from the soil, no foreign law. Respect the East, but my roots run deep. Liberty is the mantra, my word, my draw. Silicone mindset, dirt running in my veins. Stayed in the bay, but my freedom I follow. Cali be rising, but the shadow still looms. She OP growing commies in the brains.